went to Oregon and to Portland, and I visited Pals, and lo and behold, in the art section they had quite a few interesting things, but they had one set of gouache. This is Studio Series dry gouache paint set. Not something I'm interested in, but there are a few things about this. This is from Peter Popper Press. There's no pigment information, but this is the weirdest paint palette, but it's actually kind of cool. So when it opens up, this can be, the lid just completely can be removed. Kind of just lay it off to the side as a paint palette. But that's not even the weirdest. It came with 2 brushes, a round detail. It doesn't say anything in a flat brush. They're kind of, I don't say that they're the worst brushes in the world, but they're definitely, like this is, I don't know how you get a sharp edge on that one. But this is the gouache itself, and I did experiment a little bit with it already, but that's why you can see the lines. But this is the interesting part. All of these like come apart. Let's see, there we go. See, look at that. So you can like mix and match and like put just what you need together. They're not that firmly in there. Some of them actually pop out. There's like a little sticky bit at the bottom. Doesn't really stick, but yeah, you can just pull these apart and mix and match the colors that you need at that moment and just bring them with you. That's I think they advertise. But I was intrigued, and it wasn't that expensive. It was about $12. I think I paid for it. So again, and it's supposed to be a beginner's gouache. They advertise it as, but it's dry. And once the gouache is dry, I know there's people who like it, but generally when I see people using dry gouache, in my experience so far, which is again limited, I see people who dry out their gouache, or people who just like leave it on the palette and then that's what they do. They're using it more like watercolor. But I know like Karen Dash has a dry set. Like there are various dry sets. Oh well, it'll live. So maybe these are just opaque watercolors. So obviously I can't just go in there with a dry brush. Let me get this one wet. So I can, yeah. These don't shape very well. But I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these out and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so really these just seem to be very kind of opaque-y watercolors. They definitely, you can't get a good consistency from them that would tell me otherwise, which is what I expected. Let's try some color mixing. You definitely need to get quite a bit of water on these, and mixing them is going to be like mixing watercolor. I can see that already, like, it's like people in the tray. I'm using the lid. And I'm just going to treat these like watercolors and get some, it's a nice purple though. They are kind of opaque, especially when mixed together. You get some nice dark colors at least. And like watercolor, you can easily get the color you want right back. So I'm literally pulling it right there, not caring that my brush is dirty. This brush doesn't keep its shape very well. I'm actually getting it to work more like the flat brush, which is okay. So the brushes might get frustrating if you're trying to keep it there kind of nicely. Let's do some black. Maybe some purple together. But they're definitely going to mix right on the page, just like a watercolor would. I don't know. I think they're just a little bit more opaque, but I'm going to take some white and some of this light purple. They don't have color names, so you can get some pretty good pastels with the white, I think. Let's see how it gets that kind of blue. So you can get some nice pastels with it. Like I said, the layers are pretty good. That's kind of nice. It layered better than some of the actual gouaches. Let's see, it's brown. I mean, I would say that these are a more opaque watercolor. I don't really know if they're really gouache. They seem okay. But just like watercolor, you can't, you know, you have to pull off some on the lid, some on the paint itself, but it doesn't actually matter. The lid is kind of weird. You gotta really clip it in there for it to close. But like I said, they don't have any other colors. So it's time to start a new sketchbook. And we still have some more gouache to actually paint pictures with. Today we are going to do Peter Popper Press Studio Series Dry Gouache. You can find, I bought this set when I first came to Portland in last year. You can buy this online. You can buy this, like a lot of like kitschy stores will have it, or bookstores, museum gift shops, kind of thing. But it is this dry gouache that you can see I've used a little bit. I'm not much for dry gouache. I don't know. The only one I can say that I know makes it is Caran d'Ache, but I know there's other companies that make it usually, or they'll call it opaque watercolor, and this is an odd set. The set is already odd. The palette comes off the top and it hooks in, and these are kind of like in puzzle pieces, and you can like clip or unclip. I didn't realize I don't have this on the camera. Clip or unclip them and put them in different orders. I think I reordered them. It came with 2 brushes, which I've used. I'm not going to use for the painting though. They're just kind of cheap little brushes. But you can also use the bottom to do it. It's 12 colors, and including a white, 1 red, a brown. So it's kind of an odd little set. This is the swatches that I did, and it really acted kind of like watercolor, really, more than gouache. It wasn't really that opaque. So I'm gonna give it a try for this grading class I'm doing, and we'll see how well it goes. I don't know. I haven't actually really done any paintings with it. I've messed around a little bit with it, but not a lot. This will be the first like painting. I'm also trying the sketchbook. This paper might be too thin, I realize, in this sketchbook. I think it's mostly for marker or pen, but we'll give it I'm gonna give it a try too, because I have a lot of pages in it, so I would like to use this up. There goes the Moch. Mochi, what are you barking at? Who knows? I don't know if she knows. But we'll give it a try. I'm going to section off this page. I don't know how well this paper will hold up. I guess I'll find out. This was like one of those, for a while, Barnes & Noble was really doing the art stuff, and they did all these sketchbooks and notebooks with like really crazy, awesome covers. And I have a few of them that I picked up. both for writing and for drawing. And this is one of the sketchbooks, but I didn't think I realized how thin this was. I've had it for a while. Oh well, we're going to use any paper I have because I want to use it up. The guy started it in the 20s, 1928, I think, and his wife continued it after he died. Their goal was to make books that even poor people can afford, which seems silly now, but it was actually not too bad. Lots of note cards and stationery type things. Now, right out of the gate, I'm going to tell you this is super hard to paint with. I'm trying to blend the colors on the palette and they're just like drying up. And I'm like trying to act quickly here and get as much paint on my brush as I can. But it's not blending very well. Now they're on the page or together. I'm trying to get my colors to blend, and this paper, I might not be able to paint on this paper. This was probably a poor choice. But it just, the paint also really soaks up the water, so the water is pretty much gone pretty quickly. And I'm trying to mix the colors, and it's really difficult, like super difficult. Like, please give me more of this pinky color. Maybe if I get some red. Oh jeez, it's a mess. It's hard not to mess these up because you're trying to grab the color to mix them, and if you clean your brush, that's it, like it's gone. And as I try to keep these wet, they get thinner and thinner, just like you'd expect a watercolor to do. But laying them on is really hard, and trying to get this gradient. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get this gradient. They don't re-wet very well at all. Like, I'm surprised they don't really re-wet. It's kind of difficult to get them to do that, and I need to start bringing in white here. Like, super difficult to use, and wow, like the paint, like I said, just kind of soaks up the water and it's gone. And I'm trying to blend it here, and it's just not. Like, you can still see the really hard line there. And so I'm going to try to grab some of this purple here to blend it in. And it's really grainy. Super grainy. And streaky. I might have to give up and like redo this painting with like real paint. I feel like I'm using too much water. Like, doesn't. Oh, reactivate. Come on. Like, this feels like it's a mess. It looks like it's a mess too. Oh. Let's see. Oh, it's totally, like, this is also probably not paper to do this with. So, this sketchbook might be a no as well. I mean, I figured it might be because it's so thin, but I had hoped. No. I'm not going to spend time. There was variations to do in the foreground, but with this, it's painful enough that I am never going to torture myself again like I did with the Zenith color. I learned important lessons. One of them is not to torture yourself. So we're just going to pull the tape off and call it good. Ooh, ripping the paper. And comes the other side. Oh, this paper is not good to paint on. I'm going to have to switch sketchbooks and reserve this one for something else. So I made some mistakes. So this is the Peter Popper Press Studio Series Dry Gouache. It was not. I mean, paper aside, paper mistakes aside, this was not really gouache. It's really grainy and not in a good way. It doesn't blend well. It layers a little bit, at least, but it was really kind of difficult to layer because this one was kind of a light to dark. It wasn't too bad, but making those clouds is really difficult, and I really don't like them. Not compared to some of the others I did. So, I really wouldn't recommend this gouache if you're looking for a dried gouache. I don't generally paint with dried gouache, at least not pre-dried gouache anyway. It's a little clunky and weird. I don't know. I don't know why I bought so many things. When I'm on a trip and suddenly I realize I forgot something, and in this case, I really wanted to paint with gouache, and I wish I'd brought it with me, and I bought this. I ended up going to an art store, and that's where I got all the engram colors that I painted with instead. So we're going to move on into something more fun. I think that this was another lesson of dried gouache is not for me. Maybe somebody else likes this, but I really don't. So, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll probably have that on my outro, but I thank you for following me through this adventure.